and the unequal power relationships between languages. In 2018, the same issues took me to Limerick, Munster, Ireland, for a conference celebrating 125 years since the foundation of the Gaelic League in 1893. The League was dedicated to the revival of Gaelic or Irish, which by then in its own country had become subordinate to the dominant English. Despite many efforts, including official government support for its revival, Irish is still subordinate to English. More Irish speak and use English than they do Irish. Some of the most iconic Irish writers like W.B. Yeats and James Joyce wrote in English, and they are studied as part of the canon of English literature. I cannot conceive of an English department anywhere in the world, including Britain itself, without courses in these writers of Irish origins. They have become some of the greatest contributors to English literature. This unequal power relationship between the two languages in favor of the English was not always the case. The early English settlers in Ireland, Munster in particular, gravitated towards Irish because, by all accounts, in the beginnings of English settlement, particularly between the 13th and the 16th centuries, the Irish language was the more endowed in classical learning. Naturally, those early settlers were drawn to the more vibrant Irish tongue. Their gravitation made sense. Irish was the majority tongue, spoken by those among whom the English planters had settled. London acted, and beginning with the 1366 Statutes of Kilkenny, it passed edicts aimed at protecting the English language against the subversive encroachment of Irish or Gaelic, reinforcing by law the use of English, while literally criminalizing Irish. Among other things, the Kilkenny Statutes threatened to confiscate any lands of any English or any Irish living among them who would use Irish among themselves, contrary to the ordinance. These policies were given a literary and philosophical rationale by no other than the poet Edmund Spenser, author of The Faerie Queene and himself a settler in Munster. In his book A View of the Present State of Ireland, published in 1956, he argued that language and naming systems were the best means of bringing about the erasure of Irish memory. It hath ever been the use of the conqueror to despise the language of the conquered, and to force him by all means to learn his.